Xi Jinping recently met with a group of American business and academic leaders again. Over the past year, such meetings have become a hallmark of Xi's leadership. Figures from Silicon Valley to Wall Street have been rotating like a carousel through his presence. Xi Jinping has been personally showcasing China's promising economic prospect to them, while vocally assuring them of China's unwavering commitment to reform and opening up, creating favorable conditions to attract foreign investment. From Bill Gates to Elon Musk to Steven Schwarzman, Xi Jinping has continuously emphasized one concept: the hope for Sino-US relations lies in the people. What he really meant is that the hope for Sino-US relations lies in the business community. Xi Jinping's high-profile receptions signify an all-in stance. Through these unequal, extraordinary receptions, Xi Jinping aims to personally endorse the policies of the Communist Party of China and assure foreign investors about investing in China.
Good afternoon. 主席好，很高兴见到你。
Last year, when U.S. Secretary of State Blinken and other officials visited China, China's attitude was cold, and they were received with lower protocol. China also refused to communicate with the U.S. military. If you were to visit Chinese websites now, the media is still filled with criticism of the United States. In this context, why is there such a strong favoritism towards the American business community? I think this may indicate that Xi Jinping has realized that relying solely on China's own strength and its alliance with developing countries close to Beijing cannot pull the economy out of its slump. China still needs Western and especially American technology, money, and markets to help with the heavy lifting. However, Xi intends to use an indirect approach by leveraging the influence of the business sector on the political sphere, rather than directly engaging with Western governments. Past experiences have proven the efficacy of this strategy. Let's first discuss why Xi Jinping might be changing his expectations on domestic circulation or the internal strength of China's economy. This is because the Chinese economy has several chronic issues that prevent hardly any policy from fundamentally altering its trajectory. One is the declining population. It's well known that China's population experienced a negative growth for the first time in 60 years in 2022. In May 2023, India's population surpassed China's. These two events have brought sudden attention to China's population issue worldwide. However, when we notice this problem, it's not a recent one. It has existed and worsened for a long time. In 1971, China began the one-child policy. From 1972 to 1979, the birth rate decreased by nearly 40% over 8 years. In the 1980s, the annual birth rate saw a significant rise again due to the baby boom generation, born in the 50s and 60s, entering the childbearing age. However, from the late 1980s to the present day, China's birth rate has been steadily declining, despite the implementation of the universal two-child policy in 2013 and the termination of family planning in 2015. From 1988 to now, China has not seen a significant increase in birth rate due to any age group reaching the childbearing age. The number of newborns decreased from 24.45 million in 1988 to 9.56 million in 2022, a decrease of over 60%. This trend is irreversible. China's fertility rate has plummeted, and it's not a future problem, it's a present one, resulting in the shrinkage of the labor force. From 2011 to 2022, the labor force aged 16 to 59 decreased by over 65 million over 10 years. This number will continue to accelerate. At least another 20 years of decline are expected. Even if a miracle were to occur today and Chinese people, under the call of the Communist Party, decided to have more children, say 3, 4, 5, and 6, it would take another 20 to 30 years for this effect to be evident. This is to say, when these babies reach working age, they will then become useful labor. Within these 20 to 30 years, no matter what measures the Communist Party takes, it cannot solve the rapid decline in China's population, especially the labor force. This is called the disappearance of the demographic dividend. In the long run, it will be the main reason for the slowdown in economic growth. With fewer people working, labor costs rise and total labor output decreases. This also suppresses consumption capacity and leads to market contraction. Nowadays in China, we often see news about obstetrics and gynecology departments and kindergartens closing down. These are all direct consequences of the declining birth rate. China's population decline also brings another reality, the need for China to upgrade its industry. If China continues with its labor-intensive industrial structure, there's no way out. On the one hand, there's a shortage of labor, and on the other hand, the current economic growth model is different from the one after World War II. Today's economic growth is based on technology and innovation. Therefore, in order for China to keep up with the trend of global economic development, avoid being obsolete, and elevate the crisis of labor shortage, it must upgrade its industries and transform the entire economy from one dominated by labor to one dominated by technology and innovation. One such example is the three new things: electric vehicle, or EV, lithium batteries, and solar panels. China's EV exports increased by more than 77% last year. In 2022, China's CATL held a global power battery consumption market share of 37%, ranking first in the world for 6 consecutive years. Its global energy storage battery shipment market share was 43.4%, also ranking first globally for 2 consecutive years. Additionally, China's solar panels occupy at least 80% of the world market. China proudly regards these fields as the new growth areas that could replace the collapsing real estate sector. However, the future of the three new things that China has high hopes for is now somewhat uncertain. One reason is the changing landscape of the international electric vehicle market. For instance, on February 22nd, Mercedes-Benz announced that it had adjusted its previous goals and no longer planned to fully transition to electric vehicle sales in major markets by 2030. Instead, it announced its intention to continue developing fuel vehicles over the next 10 years. This decision was prompted by the fact that the popularity of Mercedes-Benz electric vehicles has not met expectations. Additionally, General Motors and Honda also abandoned a partnership aimed at developing a range of low-priced electric vehicles. Despite BYD having surpassed Tesla's global sales, Western governments have also begun to take precautions against Chinese EVs. For example, in February of this year, U.S. President Biden ordered the Department of Commerce to investigate foreign-made automotive software to prevent Chinese EVs from flooding the U.S. market. The EU has also begun to be wary of China's large-scale export of EVs to Europe. European Commission President von der Leyen proposed opening a relevant investigation in September last year to see whether Chinese electric vehicles have received illegal subsidies from the Chinese government, allowing them to undercut their competitors with a significant price advantage in the market.
So I can announce today that the Commission is launching an anti-subsidy investigation into electric vehicles coming from China.
The EU statement indicated that if Chinese manufacturers benefit from such illegal subsidies, the EU may impose countervailing duties on electric vehicles imported from China, with a tax rate exceeding 10%. However, Chinese electric vehicles must enter the European and even American markets on a large scale before they can truly thrive. Despite the explosive growth of China's EV industry, it is essentially operating at a loss and relies heavily on state subsidies and preferential policies to survive. Direct subsidies from the state have now been discontinued. Therefore, Chinese manufacturers must sell a significant number of cars to improve their profit margin. If the markets in Europe and the United States cannot be penetrated, China's electric vehicle industry will struggle to sustain rapid development by relying solely on the markets in China, Southeast Asia, and the Middle East. In other words, the future of these three new things is uncertain. Moreover, the three new things only account for 8% of China's GDP. It's almost impossible to use them to fill the gap left by real estate, which accounts for 1/3 of China's GDP. Another indicator of China's economic fundamentals is China's ever-increasing broad money supply, which has now exceeded 300 trillion RMB. China's debt-to-GDP ratio reached a historic high last year. But despite this surplus of money circulating in the system, China's economic activity remains sluggish. This indicates that money has been circulating aimlessly in the banks, with no one using it. The root cause of this phenomenon is the people's lack of confidence in the future of the economy. In this situation, the domestic circulation strategy that Xi Jinping once had high hopes for does not seem to be as viable as expected. As a result, the Communist Party is once again turning to Western money and technology, which have often been a lifeline in the past. Why is Xi Jinping meeting with American business leaders, especially those in the high-tech sector? One reason is that China needs Western technology to help with industrial upgrading. Elon Musk is a prime example. The EV industry in China, from its inception to its explosive development, owes a great deal to Musk. Tesla's open-source technology paved the way for China's EV industry to transition from non-existence to prominence at virtually no cost. Additionally, by establishing factories in China, Tesla catalyzed the growth of the entire EV industry ecosystem. It's fair to say that without Tesla's contributions, there would be no electric vehicle industry to speak of in China. From the information gleaned from this year's annual plenary session of the National People's Congress and the People's Political Consultative Conference, it's evident that the Chinese Communist Party also acknowledges the significance of technological innovation and industrial upgrading. Consequently, they have issued ultra-long national bonds to bolster key areas of development. The objective is to utilize state investment to propel high-technology advancements. However, China still relies on the West to facilitate this transformation. Among the American business leaders that Xi Jinping is meeting, another crucial category is Wall Street. Why Wall Street? One reason is that China is eager to revitalize its stock market, seeing it as a swift means to bolster the Chinese economy. With the collapse of the housing market in China and people hoarding money instead of spending it, Beijing aims to redirect funds into the real economy and stimulate spending. The stock market becomes a natural target for this effort. However, China's stock market struggles to maintain a level above 3,000 points, regardless of the policies Beijing implements or the interventions of state-owned enterprises. The government's credibility alone cannot fully restore confidence among Chinese investors. Hence, Wall Street's involvement becomes crucial. If Wall Street begins to invest in China's A shares, it would significantly boost the confidence in the Chinese stock market, attracting more domestic investment. The involvement of the American business community is the ace Xi Jinping is betting on. But will he succeed? It's hard to determine at this stage. Discerning American businessmen have also taken note of China's deteriorating economic fundamentals. Aside from those with long-standing business interests in China, like Tesla, few foreign companies are genuinely optimistic about China's long-term economic outlook. Moreover, the net zero goals set by Europe and the United States exert a significant impact on China's three new things. As long as these goals remain unchanged, the solar panel market, currently dominated by China, could render America and Europe energy dependent on the communist country. Consequently, the outcome of the 2024 U.S. presidential election is pivotal for China. If Trump comes to power and alters energy policies, China's economic cornerstone, the three new things, may face a severe setback.